All right, welcome to the end of FGM Live. If this is when you're joining in, really appreciate having you here today. All right, so we're not able to add Mama Nuria to this call yet, so we'll just start off with the ladies who are on the call. Thank you very much for holding on. We do appreciate having you here today. And as I had introduced to you before, we will be talking about FGM in this specific county, which is Marsabit. So switching on to our guests today, and we will start off from the Gabra community, and that's where you work mostly, Darare, and we are always speaking about different communities in regards to ending FGM, with lots of statistics coming on. For example, in areas like Isiolo or Tana River, we always talk about the Somali, whose percentage is like the first one in the whole country. The Gabra sometimes are forgotten. How is it like working among a community that is, say, has a very high prevalence but hardly recognized as an issue? Do you have any support that you are receiving in that regard?
It has never been easy to end, a practice which has been there for a long time.
Yeah.
It is deep-rooted. And even, sharing on FGM, on the practice by different members of the communities, whether it is women, youths, or the traditional elders, it has never been easy.
Yeah.
But at least I would say that the discussion has already started, the engagement has already started with support from an organization called the Girl Generation.
All right.
Who has been supporting the Option UK.
All right.
And as I said, it has never been easy. But once you start sharing and people start listening to you,
yeah,
I feel that that's really a big achievement, because earlier on, when you share about FGM, people feel that, you are trying to talk about something sensitive.
Yeah.
And earlier on again, the target has been so much, we have been targeting women and girls.
Yeah.
And young people.
Yeah.
But this time around, we said that the best is because they are the people who make law, the traditional institution which is there with us.
Yeah.
And unless we bring these people on board, women can say yes, they can end FGM. Girls can say yes, we don't want to go for FGM. But on the other hand, because they are living within an institution, within a traditional structure,
yeah,
which make laws, unless target them, then that becomes quite difficult.
All right.
So in this relation, already the discussion has started on engaging the traditional elders at different levels.
Okay. All right. And to you, Talaso, you run the Kota Injena project, basically, or activity in Marsabit with Amref Health Africa. And I just read a post that they made last year on Facebook. They say it's through engagement, meetings with the community, clan elders, mother-daughter forums, and abandonment of harmful cultural practices such as FGM. And if you can hear me, we have seen incidences of FGM. If you can hear me, we've seen lots of incidences of FGM in different parts. And I have been in Marsabit County myself. And I have experienced it even among the areas where the Samburu live, also in Marsabit. Which areas do you cover, and how is your work? Basically, how do you run your work in Marsabit County? What do you cover?
In Marsabit, we are based in 3 sites. One is my corner, which is entirely occupied by Gabra community, and then we have Kargi,
all right,
occupied by Rendile and Sol.
All right. Sorry for that.
In Wamba, we have an office in Wamba, and we basically do structured dialogues with different target groups to enable them to understand the negative impact of female genital mutilation.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for that. And the project basically deals with different aspects of girls and women's rights and lives as well. How has it been working during COVID-19? How have your activities being proceeding?
Of course, there are some challenges, actually a lot of challenges. One, because now that the government has prohibited gatherings and meeting cannot take
Sorry for that.
meet at a certain point, and this on the negative effect of female genital mutilation, meeting kids in school, in health clubs, by doing health clubs meeting. But now that the school has been closed, there are no gatherings, people are not allowed to sit together.
Yeah.
It is posing a lot of challenges. It has posed a lot of challenges on our activities and how we used to do it. But we are using social media, and which also has its own challenge, whereby the elders cannot access social media.
Okay.
They cannot read.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have to meet physically.
Yeah, we have to meet physically, but we are doing house-to-house sensitization.
All right.
Yeah, and that is also posing another challenge, whereby, it's not allowed during this pandemic to be going from one house to another, because you are still creating an avenue for the spread of disease.
Yeah. All right. If you're joining in from wherever you're watching this from, remember to comment, leave a comment, and we will be reading it live on air. Silvana Minty and John Kiok, thank you very much for joining in. Leave your comments, and we will surely find our way to read them. I see Robert Kimani following from YouTube, Paul Naiputari as well from Loisaba Conservancy in Laikipia North. Thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate having you here today. We try to add Mama Nuria, and when we're back, then we will be rolling on from there, talking about FGM in Marsabit County. Stay tuned. This is the End FGM Live.
Tune in to the End FGM Live show from Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. East African Time. Find and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at End FGM Live. Reach out to us for inquiries, to report a case, or to support the show on WhatsApp +254 73 400 7674.
All right, we are back. This is the end of FGM Live. If you're joining in right now, we are now full house from Marsabit County. We have very amazing ladies with whom I'm going to introduce you right now, working against FGM and other harmful traditional practices in that county. Some of them have been on for long and a lot of time. So you're going to see them right now. But just before you see them, please remember, as you can see the comments on this section of the screen, you are able to leave your comment and it's going to stream there and we'll be able to read your questions if you have any. All right, you also have interactions from our producers, Tony Mwebia, as well as Antonia Sophia on the stream live. So we'll be able to have that conversation. If you have any questions that they can answer, then they'll do it live on the chat. Right now, I bring to you the ladies from Marsabit, our guests today. Really appreciate having them on this conversation. Karibu sana. And we have Mama Nuria now joining us. She was not among us in the last few minutes, but now we have Darare Gonche, who is the CEO Iremo, as well as Nuria Golo, who is Mama Nuria, commonly known as Mama Nuria from Mwado, and Talaso Gababa from Amref Health Africa. And the project that she works in is called Kota Injena. So thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate having you in this conversation. And straight to it, Mama Nuria, you have been in the End FGM campaign for long right now, and you registered the organization as early as 2003. Just tell us a small background about what has changed before FGM was outlawed in Marsabit, and now that there is a law that actually prohibits FGM in Kenya. Karibu.
Thank you very much. I am Nuria Golo, the CEO of Marsabit Women Advocacy and Development Organization. A lot have changed, and I can attest to it that there's a reduction in FGM due to a lot of advocacy.
All right.
And also the presidential directive, which was just given this year in February, has also decreased FGM, because the FGM campaign has been conducted through the chiefs. You know, chiefs are the representative of the president.
Yeah.
And are out there on the lookout, and they have been given ultimatums that any chief who has been found whose area is still conducting FGM will be answerable. So from my end, I can confidently say that there's a decrease villages of some areas are far to reach areas, and this message might have not reached the far end of the rural homes of the rural towns in Marsabit County. In those areas, the messages are not yet very clear. The chiefs have not disseminated this information maybe very well, and still the act is going on. But around the settlement, people are aware, people are afraid, people are aware that things are going to be different this time, because it is from the president himself. The directive has come from the horse's mouth. I declare for sure there's a lot of decrease around the urban areas.
All right, and the rural areas, because I know there are many communities in that area, in that county as well. As we have heard before, that there are different communities that are actually running different campaigns in that regard. So we still have lots of issues regarding who is doing what in what community and what the context is. Different statistics were actually done according to the communities or tribes that live in different parts of that county. And I'm just going to start off with the Gabra community, within which Darare works from. And I know that there are different people who have been involved in the End FGM campaign, either directly or indirectly, in regards to ending it in that community. There are no specific statistics, or at least the ones that I know, in regards to the Gabra community. Or maybe you can correct me, Mama Darare. How is it like working within that community and as you said, the percentage is quite high.
You are right. We don't have specific statistic in relation to the practice of FGM.
All right.
But when I said maybe 98%, if not more, this is just from our own observation.
All right.
Because people are relying on the 21%, which is the figure given by the Kenyan government.
Okay.
But this is now, I don't know how they have done it, but based on where we come from, based on the practice of FGM in the area,
yeah,
it is just high. But I don't know. When I say high, it's always good to give a certain percentage based on the survey which has already been done.
Yeah.
Could be this could be an opportunity which we can take in order for us, to move around and to get the actual figure of how the practice is being carried out among the Gabra community. I tell you, there is no kind of survey which has already been conducted.
There's no survey that has been conducted in that regard. And I know that I saw some statistics that say 81% in that county, but I did not know exactly what demographics are actually being taken or looked at in that regard. So I agree with you that more has to be done in that regard. And to you, Talaso, because you have been working within that county, what are the biggest challenges in regards to ending FGM for you?
The biggest challenge that we are currently facing is that, people are, the community have also become wise, let me say, when it comes to practicing culture. They are taking girls to outskirt villages where they cannot be traced by the local administration or even ask the project team. And some of those places are not reachable. The roads are unpassable, they can't be accessed. So you find out that girls are taken to outskirt villages in the name of visiting grandmothers, but when they come back from those villages, you find out that they have been cut.
All right.
And it's so heartbreaking because you stood your ground advocating for the rights of girls. You taught the girls back in school, but the community always come up with a way of beating the project team, or rather, what should I say?
Yeah, circumventing that, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I know that has been an issue in different counties, and I can see you smile, Mama Nuria. I know you have been on this in this work for quite some time, and in your, I realize that both of your organizations, with also both the organization which you started a long time ago together with the Raris group, there is an aspect of development in it, and I was just curious about why speak about human rights but also have an aspect of development in it. Does it have a relationship as we start off?
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Our name usually is Human Rights Defenders or Haki ya Binadamu, but at the same time, we advocate for development.
Yeah.
But it's challenging. It's challenging to see development at the same time you're advocating for the right, because it's the right of all citizens to be in an area which is developed. It is the right of citizens for the rights to be taken care of.
Yeah.
But most of the time, in the name of development, their rights are infringed.
All right.
For example, we have the CIDP. CIDP is supposed to represent all, issues of development regarding the county.
Yeah.
Things are put on paper, but the implementation is the problem.
I'm always complaining about that. Keep going on. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of development in the name of development. There are a lot of write-ups. There are a lot of issues we have carried out, a lot of workshops where we have given out our interest, and unfortunately, none has been implemented. We have a child protection policy which we started and handed over to the county government. It has not taken effect. We have Marsabit Technical Working Group, which is on paper, but no implementation. So I think in the name of development, we are losing a lot.
All right.
We need to look at it right. What is the development? What development do we specifically need to focus on? Because if it is a bulk development, a name that we are going to develop, and yet the rights of the citizens are infringed, that development is not development. So I feel the meaning of development has not really been well understood.
All right. CIDP, County Integrated Development Plan. For those who do not understand what CIDP is, and Mama Nuria just mentioned that is a document that actually guides budgeting for a period of 5 years within our counties, because Kenya's governments are actually structured in two ways: the national and the county government. So in this case, the County Integrated Development Plan now helps the county be able to budget and have ways to implement activities. If there are policies, for example, in Kajiado County, where I come from, I know it's easier to do it. And you've talked about the policy as well as the CIDP. Just talking about that, if it's in the CIDP, where does the budget go? Mama Nuria, that goes to you. Where does the budget go if it's in the CIDP?
The budget is on paper. The budget is on paper. Where it goes, nobody knows. There's no public participation. People just hear this amount of money has been allocated to Marsabit County, and that is all. And for us, stakeholders who have sat down to develop the CIDP, especially on issues of children, on issues of women, our ideas have been taken, but up now, no implementation. The citizens out there are asking us, and we cannot answer because it is in the possession of the county government.
Yeah.
And the county government is not really taking care of all what we have done from the beginning to the end to make sure that the interest of children, the interest of youth, the interest of women are put in the CIDP.
All right.
If you go and get the copy of the CIDP, you will see all the activities we have put down, all the interests we have put down to minimize FGM, child marriages, and enhance education, but none has been done. So like Talaso is saying, it's heartbreaking. We take all our time and energies to make sure all these things are put down.
Yeah.
And yet the performance is zero. I'm sorry to say.
Sorry for that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Add on, Terari. Go on.
In addition to what Nuria has just stated, in form of where the money goes, I think a lot of money goes to infrastructure, where many people who do go and participate in budget planning at every level. Most of them these are men. If there are 30 of them from one ward, around 28 are men from different areas, and could be there are only 2 women. So there are all these problems. And the challenge is when you mention the policy.
Yeah.
Marsabit County has a civic education and public participation policy which is in place. And unless there is a bill, then there is nowhere we can start from, because that is where everything has been stated in terms of who is to participate, the number of women, the number of youth. And if it has not been passed, then this becomes quite difficult for, even others or even civil society organizations like us to follow it up to see what needs to be done. Although, of course, they are trying to pick some small components that favors them from that particular policy to make sure that, mentioning that, different group of people are being represented.
All right.
When we talk of public participation and funding, projects, I think we are missing the point, because people are called together. Who knows the need of a woman? Because a woman has to stand up and talk about, her own
issues. Yeah.
But if she's not even invited, and even for those who are being invited, these are the same people circling, going around, and the women who are from the rural villages are being marginalized. It's just like when we used to say, Kenya, we are not in Kenya. We used to say that Kenya is in Nairobi, but now the devolution is with us.
Yeah.
So at the same time, we who are in Marsabit County are trying to marginalize the rural villages. Where in Marsabit County, there are wards, there are sub-locations and locations. So those who reside in towns or the major trading centers are marginalizing even those other people. So there is a kind of now internal kind of marginalization among ourselves, which is a big challenge, because when we talk of development and there is human rights, they go hand in hand.
All right.
But how do we bring these people on board if there is no even the bill that will support them to voice for their own rights?
And I know one thing that is very important for us, and Mama.
Want to add a little?
All right, just go on. But
I wanted to add that.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, according to the policies, 75% of the budget should go to development and 25% should go to administration. But in our case, it is upside down. 75 goes to administration and 25 goes to development.
But how is that approved even in the...
So that is
by the auditors?
Very minimal.
After auditing, yeah, sorry?
And in that, it goes to development. 75% goes to administration, whereby thousands of people are employed. Like for the last 2 months, the county officers, most of them have not got their salaries.
All right.
But because they don't know that burden. Yeah, so it is only 25% which goes into development, opposite of what is supposed to happen.
All right. And I think that we leave that to the auditors, but that's a very important point that you've brought about in regards to allocation of resources. And I know, Mama Nuria, you've been up for a political seat. You are vying for an MP in that regard. And so we'll talk about also women in leadership in Marsabit, because when you look at where we are at right now, we are complaining that we have not been involving women meaningfully in that county, especially in regards to allocation of resources that will aid the implementation of programs as well. So we'll talk about that. But before that, I'll just go to Talaso. And to you, Talaso, I know that you work within different areas, and you've even mentioned Wamba, if I'm wrong, if I'm right. And one thing that I know happens normally is when you have different communities, it's very difficult for you to implement a program the same way as you do in other communities. Are there any challenges working with different communities, just trying to implement the same program?
Okay, now for our project, we work differently. For Wamba, there are Samburu staff.
Yeah.
They exclude.
All right. We lost Talaso for a moment. All right. As we wait for her to just come back, I'll just go down to... All right. Talaso, you're back once again. I'm sorry you froze a little bit. Where were you at? You were saying that we work differently. That's where we left us.
I was saying that for me, I work with the Gabra community because I'm a Gabra. I understand the local language here.
All right.
For Wamba, there are Samburu people, Samburu staff.
All right.
So you get me. I exclusively work with my community.
Okay. Amazing. And to Darai, I know that working among the Gabra people, and we had talked about a couple of challenges, but let's just speak about challenges that are brought about by the way people live. I know that most of the communities living in Marsabit are actually either pastoralists or when they are living in areas where they are doing agriculture, because I know some areas of Marsabit as well are quite lush. There are some activities that they do that really promote FGM. Just a small expansion into what really holds FGM among the Gabra people.
What holds?
What really causes, or what was the biggest contributing factor to the difficulty, basically, of ending FGM in among the Gabra community?
I think some of the contributing factors are sorry.
Okay.
One is, of course, they mention about their tradition. It is a rite of passage. That is one. And secondly, if a girl is not yet cut, they feel that this is still a child.
A child, yeah.
And they feel that, if not yet, if the cut has not been done, then there is no way this particular girl is being married.
All right.
Thirdly, I think it's a form of, pride.
All right.
Pride in the sense that then if you are cut, you are a big girl, and you can be even among people who can make decisions. You can sit down with them. Otherwise, if the cutting has not been done, then people are given names.
Yeah.
There are certain names which is given to a girl who has not undergone the cutting.
All right.
I think both Nuria and Talaso will agree with me that a girl who has not been cut, there is a name which they give to her. Talaso, Wohi means a child.
Yeah.
A child, and she's not matured enough.
Okay.
Who has not undergone the cutting. She's like outgoing, and she goes around with men. It's like she's being branding her with so many names.
All right.
So that she's a loose girl, loose in such a sense that she likes sex more than girls who have undergone the cutting.
All right.
So all these are just make Gabra community to make sure that their child has undergone the cutting.
Yeah.
And of course, if a child has undergone the cutting, this girl has to be engaged. And for the engagement to take place, and for this girl to be married, and for the family to get the 3 camels, then the girl must be circumcised, or she must have undergone the cutting. So all these are the challenges. And of course, if we want to sensitize the community, these are pastoralist community. They move from one place to another. I remember one time I was with Mama Nuria in a certain village. We did the sensitization. We told them next month we'll still come back to them. When we came, they have already shifted. All these are the lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's also attributed to, even for us, for people who are, doing the sensitization on FGM. It has never been easy.
Yeah.
And even giving us names as the organization who are, voicing for the rights of girls.
Yeah.
Branding of girls. But we don't care because we know what we stand for, and we know where we want to reach. All these are the challenges. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just to the comments section, and I'm just reminding everyone that you are able to leave your comments from wherever you're watching, on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on Twitter. I see Hidbo Halima, and she says, great job, my people. Silvana watching from Germany. Thanks for the great job. Robert Kimani says, sure, no substantive survey or data available. Keep the comments coming, and we will be reading them as we go on. Short break. And when you come back, we will be delving into involvement of the community, but specifically, as we had complained or talked about earlier, what are we doing in regards to ending FGM within these counties with relation to the government?
Tune in to the End FGM live show from Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. East African Time. Find and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at End FGM Live. Reach out to us for inquiries, to report a case, or to support the show on WhatsApp +254 73 400 7674.
All right, welcome back to the NFGM Live show. Today we are in Marsabit County with 3 amazing ladies. We are talking about FGM in that county and what technicalities are existing in regards to ending FGM in those specific regions. We have Adarare Gonche as well as Mama Nuria Golo and Talaso Gababa, who are talking about what experiences they have in ending FGM in that county. It's a time where we are talking about things like the pandemic at this time and what the communities are actually doing to adapt. But most importantly, the End FGM, and basically protecting children against harmful traditional practices and abuse. When you talk about human rights, children's rights as well, how challenging and what interventions have they taken to make sure that we are able to protect these children just normally on normal days, as well as at difficult times such as this. So we just come back to the conversation all the way from Marsabit, but just reminding you that you can leave your comments and they will stream on the screen, as you can see right now. All right, to you, and to you, Talaso, right now, I know that there have been issues regarding culture, as well as implementation of programs within very specific niches. But one thing that I would like us to talk about in this conversation, or in this segment, is the involvement of organizations from different aspects. You work with AMREF Health Africa. Do you work hand in hand with other community-based organizations just to make sure that you are coordinating and not duplicating the roles that you have in ending or supporting these communities?
Yes, that is exactly what we are doing on the ground now, because we are partnering with different stakeholders in the area that deals with the same issues as like concerned one of Mama Nuriel Mwado. Yeah, I know she knows about culture and gender.
All right.
So we also partner with her.
All right.
And it actually makes our work easier.
All right.
Because, we cannot do it alone. We must work together to achieve our common goal.
All right. All right. And to you, Mama Nuria, as she had mentioned, you've been in this field for a long time, running these campaigns even before Kenya passed, and there was the End FGM, or the prohibition of the practice of FGM Act 2011 was passed. One question to you: how is the coordination been in regards to working against FGM in Marsabit County? Are there any steps taken? Is there any progress, basically?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jeremy. Of course, it has been a long journey. When we started talking about FGM could not even be mentioned. We could even be chased away from Barazas, we could be chased away from the Manyatas. But as at now, between 2011 and now, there has been a lot of improvements.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of improvement, especially the urban areas where, children go to school, their parents are educated. When we talk to them, they accept, and I can assure you there are girls from Marsabit who have not been FGM, who are now married with the children.
All right.
Whom can testify as case studies.
Yeah.
But of course, the number is increasing day by day around the urban areas.
Yeah.
But the rural areas, as I told you earlier, is difficult.
Yeah.
It is difficult. But now we can sit on the table and talk with the men, women, chiefs, caddies, okay?
Yeah.
And also church leaders about FGM, which never used to be there. I think it's a milestone. It never used to be mentioned. We used to be called names. Mama, Mama clitoris in vernacular, and it sounds awful when it is in vernacular.
Yeah.
But now, at least, I should say there is improvement, because we can sit on the table, discuss issues of FGM without fear.
Yeah.
Without fear. And we have our youths also who are trying very much to be with us. And they are contributing very much towards this, especially Talaso knows, around Sololo, Kota and Gender program, we have partnered with them. And the Sololo men are standing up and saying no to FGM.
Yeah.
If you go to a place in Sololo, just out of town, just 2 kilometers out of town, you could see primary school kids singing, it's our right, it's our body, we need to be protected.
Yeah.
So it's a milestone.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not 100%, but as little as it is, there has been changes.
And all
it's
that
no longer the way it used to be.
And I think all that matters is that we already have a step that we are taking at this time. But are we fast enough? The Kenyan government, through the president, recently, actually not very long ago, made a statement that we are going to end FGM by 2022. And these are questions that I've asked severally. Is it possible in Marsabit?
I think the president has been overambitious.
All right.
Or the president has been overambitious. 2022 is just here. We hope it will end, but to me, from my view, there are areas which are far to reach areas.
All right.
We have illiterate. We have Angalani. We have areas which are 800, 1,000 kilometers away from Marsabit town headquarters.
Yeah.
And they have never had this sensitization. Maybe this message has not gone well. Even for the chiefs who attended the workshop, we had to give them on the president's statement.
Yeah.
How could they even far to reach areas?
Yeah.
So I think 2022 is being overambitious. We'll try our best, of course. Something will be achieved, but not 100%.
Not 100%. All right. To the comment section, just reminding everyone as we also work towards adding one of our guests who we lost as well. Just leave your comments and we will be streaming live as we continue with this conversation. Remember to use the hashtag #NFGM live, and we will surely try our best to add your conversations, as you can see on our charts. Trying to add one of our panelists, but if you're not able to, we will just go on with Mama Darare from Iremo. Remember that today we are in Marsabit County with Mama Nuria Golof, the CEO of Mwado. It's a long name, so please pardon me using the abbreviations. Find them on Facebook as well, and you will be able to have a conversation with them, as well as Talaso Gababa from Amref Health Africa, as well as Darare Gonchef, the CEO of Iremo. Thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate having you on this beautiful day. All right, so we are now full house again. Once again, we will be talking about, and we've just been talking about this before we had that short losing of one of our panelists, of course, Darare, and we've been talking about the involvement of people basically from the ground for a long time, and we say that we'd want to approach from a bottom-down perspective. Is it happening right now? And that goes to Darare. Is the community being involved really, as you can see in ending FGM? Because if they're still practicing at a high percentage, like 80-something%, then I would want to ask that question. Why is the community not buying in, really?
Remember, this is a deep-rooted practice.
Yeah.
And we may not be in a position to bring changes overnight. This may take a longer time because it has been a practice which has been there with the community.
Yeah.
And to help communities to buy in or to understand the effect of FGM may not be easy. But you see, we have to start somewhere. While we know that those who are conducting the FGM are women themselves, and this is done to the girls. So we have been doing a lot of sensitization to both girls and women. But on the other hand, we have got the traditional institution who are the custodian of the traditional laws. Unless this is being stopped at the higher level and it is being passed at the traditional institution kind of different communities, it may not be easy. But we are trying to target women groups, because the women groups are, as you said earlier, we try to combine both human rights and development.
All right.
Through development, through sensitization, by supporting women, we want to, teach them the effects of FGM.
Yeah.
And I tell you, some of them at individual level, although they don't want to disclose themselves, some have already stopped, or if they have not stopped, they are doing something like pricking, which of course the law even doesn't allow.
Yeah.
And as much as they wish to come out, they fear to come out to tell the public that they have stopped, FGM, even the few who have accepted. So the challenge is quite big.
All right.
But you have to start small sensitization, and especially the local-based organization, because they are there to stay. Whether it is the CBO, the local NGO, the local role model like Talato, they are there to stay. So if all of us unite and we move forward, then our action will be amplified.
All right.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah, add that.
Yes, just like my colleague has said, but I think one thing which never used to be there and now is changing is the involvement of men. You know, men are the custodians of law, as she has said, because the traditional structures which are within Borana, within Gabra, within Rendile are composed of only men. And that is where the traditional laws are passed. So it becomes difficult when we do it alone. But of late, we've been using even men. We are doing he for she, whereby the men support our initiatives towards stopping FGM. I think Eva forgot to say that in instances where we involved elders in trainings, it was a surprise to them. The things the women go through when they are FGM'd and when they give birth. So they had it from us. And they said these men of us, that's what they are going through. And it has already changed their mindset.
All right.
Their mindset is already changed. Men are feeling pain and they are saying no FGM to our daughters. If this is the pain our women go through, this is the pain they go through from the men learned that women go through a lot, and they have supported us. So I think the support of men in fighting against FGM is a success indicator, which shows that all of us should do it in unison. It's not a women issue, and all sectors should collaborate and work towards ending FGM.
Talking about what you are doing right now, because I think that's the essence of basically making sure that we have progress. COVID-19 is here, but you've also, and Mama Nuria spoke about this, you spoke about budgets being there. It was in the CIDP, but really not seeing that in the implementation of that. Of course, the county of Marsabit doesn't have a specific policy to end FGM in that county. But one thing that I'd like to ask is, do you have any support in regards to working with the government at Talaso? Have you had any government support in your work?
You know, the main problem in our region is that political leaders, especially men,
all right.
I'm sorry to say for the politicians, they don't normally support end FGM campaigns because they are afraid to lose votes, especially men.
All right.
So you could find that an MP comes to a region, but he will talk about war, raid, drought, famine, relief food, but it doesn't touch anything on women empowerment and girls empowerment. And it's so sad that, and you know, communities mostly listen to those leaders, even more than the NGO team and the NGO group or even any other organization. But it's so unfortunate that those leaders, instead of leading by examples, they are so reluctant on supporting women and girls.
And why is that the case?
Like for them, it's like going against culture for the leaders now, and they don't really like to disappoint the elders, and the community members at large.
All right.
So we don't have main leader support. That is.
Mama Nuria, to you, you've been a politician, I'd say, because I know you sought a seat in Marsabit as well. And I'd just like to know what's the situation like. You've been on the community development side, running an organization, but also looking at it from a perspective. Why don't leaders really support the End FGM campaign in Marsabit?
Yeah, I, of course, you are aware, I vied for MP last time, and I was number 2 out of 5, eh?
All right. Congratulations.
Wow.
So, my interest of women My interest to vie for that seat was to show younger women and other women a roadmap, a route that women also lead.
Yeah.
At the same time, I wanted to help the women so that they could also develop politically, economically, and socially.
Yeah.
But when it comes to politics, Jeremy, it's only that maybe you don't understand the politics of Marsabit. The politics of Marsabit is ethnic-based, and we have two parallel lines. So if you don't belong to this one, you must belong to the other one.
All right.
And you are condemned in totality. Whatever you talk about, whether it is good, very good, or even excellent, the other side will not accept. As for me, during my campaigns, I used to talk about women empowerment. And in the end, what worked against me is that the women will beat you, the women will fight you, and the women will rule you in your own houses. So don't vote Luria, because she's championing for women empowerment. And at the same time, another aspect which they say is leadership is a men's issue. It's women it's men who are supposed to lead, and women are there to follow. It's a tradition which has been deep-rooted. At the same time, they say they fear once women are given leadership, they will leak, the secrets of the tribe to an enemy. You see, maybe a tribe which they are fighting with, a woman can easily be manipulated so that she can give out secrets of the community. At the same time, this is just, a patriarchal, aspect of, belief that women leak secrets, that women are notable, that women go for maternity leave. Those things are natural, and they know they are lies, but they can use it against you.
All right.
I actually came out really for women themselves, and they know that very well. But even my women friends deserted me the last minute because maybe we don't belong to the same camp, we don't belong to the same tribe. They feel, no, I will not vote her because she's not ours. Right. So this is what happens. It's not what you know, it's where you belong. So the fact that we have not been voted, it does not stop us from talking about women empowerment, FGM, early marriage, and whatsoever. We'll still continue. That will not stop us.
Mama Darare, to you.
Can I add something?
All right, very briefly, because I just want to shoot a question to Mama Darare as well.
Okay. I just want to add something small to what she has said. She's saying most problem is with women. Women do not support each other. It's because women and girls have become so much unconscious of culture and gender inequalities. And we have come to accept a denial of right to own property, leadership role, and decision-making authority. Yeah, we have taken those things as norm, that we women, we are nothing. So you find out that if a woman stands up like Madam Nuria, she stood up to vie. But instead of supporting her as women, we are the one who pull her down.
All right.
And it's so disappointing. I don't know what we're going to do to women of Marsabit.
All right. I see Mariam Sheikh just joined the conversation. Vincent Blessing, thank you very much for your comment. Says glad. We do appreciate having you on this live show today. We are in Marsabit County, and we are talking about ending FGM in the county, but as well as challenges that ladies, because this is an issue that really affects women and girls, the challenges that they go through because of different aspects that come up as a result of either culture or just marginalization in general. To you, Madarare, I know that there have been lots of conversations around involving everyone, and we were just asking Mama Nuria just a few minutes ago the challenges working with the government, and in this regard, just seeking the position to have a voice in within the decision-making tables. I don't know if you've had an experience working with the government and any support that you've had in regards to ending FGM in that county as well.
When we talk of government, we have got two levels of government. That is the national level and the county level.
Yeah.
We are working very closely, and we have received a lot of support from local administrations. These are chiefs, and the police administration, the county commissioner, the deputy county commissioner, we have been working very closely just to make sure that, because when we talk of law enforcement, the people who can enforce these laws are provincial administration. So they have been very, very supportive, even in terms of, when we invite them to the workshop and they put on their uniforms. Sometimes people also fear the presence of the government.
All right.
But at the same time, of course, after they leave the hall, they may do something else behind their back. But all in all, in terms of support, the provincial administration have been supporting us so much. As earlier said by Mama Nuria and Talaso, of course, the political side or the political leaders are not very supportive, because these are men. These are people who are, when we talk of culture is, for me, it's men. So these men try to protect their own traditional laws. So it may not be easy, because once they talk about the culture and going against the culture and supporting women, that what they are doing is wrong, they may lose their seat. So we have never received good support from the elected leaders. This has never been easy.
So you
go. Have been working with us so closely. And maybe just to add, I also vied for MCA. Of course, I left my job because I was working very closely with the women, supporting them for 13 years, showing them the way, asking them to take up any leadership position. But later on, when I saw that, the women are reluctant, I said, can I come out? And instead of let me show them the way.
All right.
And as Mama Nuria said, all is in vain, because sometimes women are being, forced by the husband to vote where they would wish them to vote. It has never been easy.
Okay.
But all in all, people have to start somewhere. Even for us to come out and to vie for different political positions, it has never been there. It just came up recently. So this is a very good sign and a very good move for our younger girls who are coming up.
Yeah.
Just to see that it is easy. It is easy, and it is possible for them to stand up and to go for what they wish to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know many people usually ask, Jeremiah, why do you really talk about so many people ask me, Jeremiah, why do you talk about politics as well as the government in regards to support of this organization? But you remember that where we are at, there are different things. Like, for example, resources are scarce, and the government actually is able to budget for these resources. So for those who are asking, why do you always ask about questions revolving around government's support? Can't you talk to the communities? Remember that these are very, very vast areas. So we always talk about combination of ways into which to ensure that the girls are protected. Communities in Marsabit, as we bring this to a close, and this goes to Talaso. Do you think the communities know, actually, especially in the areas that you work, do the communities know that it is actually wrong to practice FGM?
I think I haven't heard you well.
Do the communities know that it is illegal to practice FGM?
Of course they know. That is what everybody has been doing. The chief, the project, different organization, they know that there is law which has been put in place that forbids the practices of female genital mutilation. It's just that communities believe that their culture is more powerful than any other thing. The government laws and the organizations and they believe that there is nothing that supersedes their culture. That is why for my project, for Amrefeld Africa, we are working with the decision makers, the highest decision makers among different communities. Like for my community, we have elders called the Council of Elders. They are the decision makers. We do have spiritual leaders. Apart from the president, who is Uhuru Kenyatta, we have our own president as Gabra community. Mm-hmm. And he's based in a certain village called Dia. And that is where actually we have our leaders and elders who guide us. So for my project, we engage those elders so that when at least they can talk to the community on our behalf, they can declare female genital mutilation as harmful.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Mama Nuria, I'm just going to come to you as well as we bring this to a close. Marsabit has been on the spotlight, of course. We've seen newspaper stories, and your story has also been on the headlines in regards to education of the girl child, FGM, child marriages as well. And one contributing factor is usually, if you speak or look at it, would be the lack of resources. And you say that you were actually trying to set an example by vying for member of parliament in the previous elections. One thing that I'd like to ask you, the bottom-up approach. We know that, of course, there are laws, but people always say, let's engage the community so that they can come up with solutions that are viable and are sustainable within them. Does it work? Does working with the community actually and talking to them, does it really work, or you have to work with other organizations as well as with the arm of the law?
Yeah, it will contribute. It does not work, but it will contribute. Why do I say so? I say so because these people who are these pastoralists, the Boranas, the Gabras, the Rendiles, they have their own decision-making structure within whatever these traditional elders say is final. I think without wasting time, if only we could go to this council of elders, the decision-making structure, the Borana decision-making structure, which is called the Abagada, is in Ethiopia. If we only go to those people and they condemn FGM, that will be final.
And why has it not been done yet?
Government, we have been also planning to go, but sometimes, even Ethiopia is not stable politically. Sometimes it's not stable. We have always planned to go, but it has proved to be difficult.
All right.
The only thing, if today somebody from the year of the Gabra, the Nabo of the Rendile, and the Abagada of the Borana stand up and say no to FGM, the community will wholly embrace and it will not be there. Because it happened with HIV. There has been wife sharing, there's concubinism within these communities. And it was condemned as terrible. Of course, we will sensitize the people, we will create awareness, but by the end of the day, what the communities tell us is, let Abagada say. If Abagada says, we will respond. And the focus is visiting these traditional structures in order to get them declare it illegal. Once they declare, it will be gone.
All right, we are losing you a little bit, Mama Nuria, but you were saying that one solution actually that will end FGM in this community is actually visiting or consulting that structure.
They are not interested. They want to keep their culture. So they want those people, the traditional structures, to declare by themselves. But the traditional structures need to be lobbied. They need to be visited. They need to be that we are not in the 15th century. We are far ahead and things must change.
Yeah.
That's when they will, of course, accept and announce. Until they pronounce it, I tell you, Jeremy, take it from me. Until they say the Gabraya, the Nabo of the Rendile, and the Abagada of Borana, until they declare FGM illegal, it will still continue. Because we have medicalization, we have cross-border, in whatever percentage, it is still going on. So I think, I heard that Kotanjena have a plan of going to the Abagada, and our organization also has a plan. I think it's the high time we join our efforts, sit together, and forge a way forward on how to approach the YA and the Abagada so that they can declare openly FGM is illegal.
Wow.
We've already started, Jeremy, we've already started working with the YA. And, in Ghana, we have 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we've visited 2 years, but they requested that we made visit to the other remaining years so that they can make decision jointly.
All right.
So for the year, we are doing good so far.
Okay. I think that she's talked about the possibility of collaboration, which is actually a very important aspect in this. Sorry, I lost you a little bit. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, also for the Bagada, we are starting the process.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
We have started the process of Bagada, but because of the COVID thing.
Yeah.
We were to go in March. But we couldn't go because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And I think once that one is, we are done with COVID, we will proceed to Abagada of the Borana.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Short break. We try at Madarari as we bring this to a close. Amazing conversation in regards to what are the solutions in ending FGM in Marsabit County.
Tune in to the End FGM live show from Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. East African Time. Find and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at End FGM Live. Reach out to us for inquiries, to report a case, or to support the show on WhatsApp +254 73 400 7674.
All right, welcome once again. We are in Marsabit County. 3 amazing ladies talking about ending FGM in that county. We have Darari Gonche from Iremo. If you come from Marsabit, you know what that means. As well as Nuria Golo, the CEO from Mwado, as well as Talaso Gababa, the Amref Health Africa. And we are talking about what interventions would work. We've had about different communities in this county, but also different interventions that would work in that regard. All right, so now we are just bringing this to a close, but before then, I just want to ask one question to everyone that is watching this, and the question is, if there is one thing that you would say would end FGM in Marsabit, something that you would say really has an impact, what would that be? And I would like us to answer that in 1 or 2 sentences. Starting off with the youngest lady in the house. What would that thing be?
For me, I believe that there is nothing that you can do for people without people.
All right.
For us to end female genital mutilation, we must work with the community members.
How?
We must work together. I cannot do it alone because that abandonment of FGM is a complex thing. Of course, it's abandoning a whole culture.
All right.
So for them to abandon their own culture, they have to understand.
All right, and that's a tradition because there are actually people who come from the same community who still feel like they are practicing the culture, but there are some traditions that they have dropped, right?
Yes.
All right, involve the people is all you say should be focused on. To you, Mama Nuria, what one thing that you'd say would end FGM in that county? If you are given everything, resources, time, the will, what would that be?
As for me, I think one thing which can make FGM end is working with the traditional structures, making them understand, and for them now to come out and pronounce. Because, as Eva said, they are the custodians of traditional laws. And once they declare, it's over and out.
Yep.
So there's no two way about it. We must visit the traditional structures and get their support and declare FGM end to FGM.
All right. Dari, what would that be? one thing that you say would end FGM in Marsabit? With one stroke, if you're given everything, all the resources, all the time, all the political goodwill, government support, as well as ways to reach out to these communities, what would that one be that you say would end FGM in Marsabit?
I think for one, FGM needs to be declared as pandemic, just like COVID-19.
All right.
Where we need to target as I just want to repeat what Mwebia said. Going for the traditional institutions.
All right.
The law-making body in the traditional institutions.
All right.
And also, we need to unite and support collective action, because as individual organization, we may not achieve more. But when we are united and we support our collective action from across, counties to end FGM, then that will work. And for that to work, we must also read from the same script. We must also have a common idea, and we work together to end FGM. All
right. Thank you very much for that. We just want to bring this to a close. A lot of time has passed. The conversations are still very raw, I'd say. So we would look forward to another conversation like this. But because of time, we have to bring this to an end. How would people reach out to you, Talaso, to support your project in Marsabit? And where are you based, basically, for someone who wants to support or just know much about your work?
I'm based in Marsabit County in a place called Maikona.
All right.
It's roughly 90 kilometers from Marsabit town.
All right.
And you can get me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My handles are Talaso Gababa.
Talaso Gababa on all those.
My phone number is 0719 790. Pardon?
All right, go on. But if you are willing to share your phone number, all right?
My phone number is 0719 790676.
All right, thank you very much. To Mama Nuria, how do people reach out to your organization and just be able to interact with you, basically?
Yeah, Marsabit Women Advocacy is based in Marsabit town. At the chief's office, and I have my own office there, but I work all over the county through my community resource persons.
All right.
But my headquarter office is Marsabit, but I'm also on Facebook.
All right. What's the handle for Facebook?
Hashtag Mwado 203.
Mwado 203 is.
Mwado. Yes. Mwado 203.
All right, thank you very much for that. And to you, Amatalaso, sorry, how did it? Darari, sorry for that. How do people reach out to you and your organization?
Our office is located at Marsabit Teachers Circle, ground floor. That is where our office is. And of course, we have got other branches in other sub-counties.
All right.
And our Facebook handle is Indigenous Resource Management Organization.
All right. Thank you very much. I see different people just commenting from our social media platforms. So I'll just read that as we bring this to a close. Basically, remember that you can always leave your comments and we are able to read them on these shows live as we go on as well. So as you can see on the chat on this side of my hand, there are different people commenting. I see Wanjiro Wahome says, I agree with them that we need to involve the traditional leaders through community dialogues in the abandonment of FGM. Michelle Lake says, watching from Colorado, thank you very much for joining in as well. Appreciating you for joining in as well. Thank you very much for today's show. We have been in Marsabit and we've been hosting community leaders as well as change makers, ladies today who are doing lots of good work in ending FGM in that county. It's becoming dark, so we have to bring this to a close right now. But thank you very much for joining us today. Asante sana. Till tomorrow, we will still further this conversation about ending FGM in this country, and we will be in a different county tomorrow till the 22 hotspot counties are done. Then we do other rounds targeting people who are making a change in their different places of either work as well as where they are born and live as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Till tomorrow, take care, and we will be here once again. All right.
Tune in to the End FGM live show from Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. East African Time. Find and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at End FGM Live. Reach out to us for inquiries, to report a case, or to support the show on WhatsApp +254 73 400 7674.